Welcome to episode 15 of Go Low Like a Pro. Now I know that for you guys watching, Masters Week was last week, but for this guy filming, Masters Week is this week. So I've decided to play my own little Masters competition. 4 rounds over 4 days, all of which count towards my handicap. So the plan for this is really simple. 2 rounds at Falkirk Golf Club and 2 at Kingsfield. Full course, medal conditions, 3 general play rounds and 1 Stableford comp on the Saturday. Now I'm not bothered about my 72 hole score, but let's see if it makes any difference to the all-important handicap index. So this is where we're at going into my Masters. Day 1 will be my 15th round and mean that my index will then be the average of my 5 lowest score differentials. So if I score 12.9 or lower, it'll be a counter. If not, then the 13 from round 2 will be the 5th lowest and count, meaning that my handicap will go up. So first things first, yes, it is an awesome outfit. It was another birthday present and I'm sure it will be a regular on Go Low Like a Pro. That putt was for a net birdie, so I opened my Masters account with a net par. I was striking the ball well and finding lots of fairways. Superb tee shot so far. Good one right in the middle of the fairway, good one at 2 right in the middle of the fairway. 3 was pulled a wee bit left, but not in a bad position, so that's where the miss is. And then A1, middle of the fairway, just short of the burn, perfect at 4. And I was scoring well, so I even decided to play safe off the 6th tee. Stay. Ah, which didn't work because I ended up here. Get out. Then I had this monstrosity. Didn't get the help from the bank I wanted, so had to try and be Phil Mickelson. Unsuccessfully. Putted, knowing it might not hold the green. It did, just. Missed this, and hold out for an 8. So much for safe. I rallied a little and overall my play and score for the round was fairly steady, but 2 more monster scores at 11 and 15 took me to a 91, 8 over net. So the following morning I found out that my score differential was 16.8 and that the 13 from round 2 would now count. Now at some point this week, however, the positions of these rounds has moved. All the same scores but in a different order. Now these were all played before the new system, so maybe it was correcting something, I really don't know. But the 13 that was played at round 2 and has now moved to round 13 is now a counter. So my handicap index has gone up to 12.2. Now with all this practice and effort and the fact that I seem to be getting worse, you'd be forgiven for asking Dave, do you really believe that you can be single figures or better? Really? Still? After all this time? Always. Saturday was very cold in Scotland, which meant a frost and the cancellation of my tee time in the Stableford comp, so I went out a bit later and played a 9-hole general play round instead. Round 16, as this would be, is still an average of my best 5, so my handicap would only move if I shoot a score differential of under 13. Again, I started steadily enough and had this for a net par at the 2nd. I was still striking it well off the tee. Wait, where is my tee? And off the deck, but as you watch that lovely 3-wood sail off into the distance, just notice that massive black cloud splitting the sky. Yep, that one. Actually, this might help you see it. And here it is, up close and personal. Strong winds and driving snow, seemingly out of nowhere. Then the visibility went, allowing us all to play Where's the Wally? Yep, I'm at the front of the green. So sadly I had a little blip around the time the conditions worsened and mooched along to a 7 over par 41, or 1 over net. The following morning, I must say it is great how efficient it is. I saw that I had a shot differential of 13.4, not horrific considering, but also not a counter. Which meant that my handicap index didn't move, but my next round, round 17 on the Sunday with Nintendo and Special K, meant that my average would now be based on the lowest 6 scores. So that 13.4 would become a counter, unless I could better it. Yes, it's that outfit again. Yes, it's a different day. Yes, it's been washed. Maybe, possibly not. And yes, that's for a birdie too. I'm scoring well again, so not going for the green at 7. Salvaging an average tee shot at 8. And I had this master style putt at 9. Set. Which I was happy with. I was varying my shots to find the greens. Too clean. Set. And my putting was pretty decent too. Come in. After a big drive at 14, I just had this little dreaded chip, which was okay. And then I had this putt for a net eagle. What could possibly stop me now? Well, we are in Scotland. Luckily, it was the 18th, and quite possibly the fastest our group has ever played a hole. Didn't hit it. So a slightly mixed bag again, but I was playing much better, at the end of which, when we totaled it up, I had shot 79. Surely good enough to be a counter, but with the playing conditions still to be assessed, who knows. It was glorious for most of the day after all. The next morning it was official, a score differential of 11.2, which meant that my handicap index had returned once more to 12.0. I feel that this new system is going to be so fluid and up to date, handicap indexes changing pretty much every round. Gone are the NRs and buffer zone, and once I've played my 20, each new round means an old one drops off, which is great, till your good ones start dropping off. I think it's going to be really good when we get the hang of it, but it does mean so much more work for me doing all the graphics for my ever-changing handicap. Would day 4 bring about another change, hopefully for the better? We had an interesting addition for the last day of my Masters as the world's press descended. A photographer from the Falkirk Herald joined us to take some pics of me for an article in the paper, which only added to the pressure on this putt. But Michael was really lovely. 4-4. And I was calmly knocking them in for 3 4s and 3 holes. Before this tester to keep the streak going. Michael was a lucky charm in witnessing my best start ever. But then he left at the 5th. Could I maintain this form without him? Ah, the 6th when it all went wrong on Monday. Don't think about that. Don't think about Michael not being here. Just do that. What's wrong with that? And tap in for a par net birdie at 6. And 7. Now don't look, just listen. Which meant I had this putt for a level par front 9. And so to the 11th, a hole that is quickly becoming my new 4th from Kingsfield, i.e. my bogey hole. Oh, I've done the same, get over, get over. I was safe, but only pitched to here, and then this putt. Set, hit it, off! Or monstrosity. Asked a little bit too much of this one, so it was my double bogey hole. Isn't this heartbreaking? Out in 36, back in 45. The front 9 I played like Matsuyama. Playing like Matsuyama. The back 9 I played like a Satsuma. Here is a Satsuma. Positive way to look at it, I played to 1 over for 9 holes. I can do it, I just need to keep that focus. So once again, the following morning, the app told me that my score differential for my final day at my Masters was 10.6, a new low and definite counter, bringing my handicap down to 11.7 and hopefully the start of things to come. Knowing that my next 2 rounds, which will be 19 and 20 towards my handicap, will mean that my average counters go up to 7 and then 8 respectively, isn't a worry for me right now. I'm far more excited about getting out on the course and shooting a low score to help bring my handicap index down. Something really clicked on Masters Monday, and in part 2, I'll tell you what it was. You don't want to miss it, so I'll see you there. Until then, be good, and if you can, shout for